Sean Brock was born and raised in a small town in rural Virginia. The town had no restaurants or street lights, but it's there that Sean learned to appreciate food and cooking from an early age, watching his father grow their own food. He has become one of the South's most favored sons and a culinary ambassador, especially about low-country cuisine.
He's now the award-winning executive chef and partner of 4 restaurants, McCrady's, Husk, and Monero in Charleston, South Carolina, and Husk in Nashville, Tennessee. His long-awaited first cookbook, Heritage, is a New York Times bestseller. We are thrilled to welcome Sean Brock to The Dish.
Thanks for having me.
Tell us what you brought, because this is really a spectacular layout here.
Well, you can just smell it. Like, this to me is like the ultimate meal. Fried chicken, Hoppin' John, cornbread, a little bit of pickles. Like, this is a good life to live.
Should I know what Hoppin' John is? What is that?
Well, you know, every culture has rice and beans. And in the Low Country, our version we refer to as Hoppin' John, and these are some beautiful peas that are originally from West Africa that have this really incredible flavor, and then Carolina gold rice, which is, to me, the best rice in the world.
I have to say, I had a chance to thumb through the cookbook. It is absolutely gorgeous, but what I noticed really about it is it's a lot about your personal journey.
Yeah, I mean, it ended up being like a diary of sorts, a journal of my journey as a chef, trying to understand fully what Southern food meant to me and like what Southern food is to me.
You grew up in rural Virginia. What did your upbringing there do to influence this?
Well, I grew up in a very rural part of Virginia where you knew where your food came from, you grew it. You touched it. You knew exactly where it came from. You didn't go out to eat. We didn't even have restaurants.
Yeah.
And that gives you a connection to food that you can only experience when you really handle it like that. And I did that at a very young age, so I saw the work that went into food. And now I have this deep appreciation.
When did you become so passionate, though, about preserving these heirloom ingredients that I think a lot of people may not even realize they're not sticking around?
You know, it was when I started working in professional kitchens and I started tasting food and I realized that it wasn't as flavorful as my grandmother's. And once I figured out that it was the plant varietals and the way that they were raised that affected the flavor so much, then I went on this crusade to find these old things and then keep them alive.
You also, I read, have a massive collection of old Southern cookbooks, which do you draw on that as well when you work with this?
Yeah, I find inspiration from those books a lot. In fact, I bought like 6 yesterday.
Did you really?
In the city. I just love like taking a step back and really trying to understand how people ate and what they were cooking and how they were cooking. And I don't know, I like old stuff. And those old books just smell a certain way and feel a certain way, and to me, just a great source of inspiration.
It certainly feels like there's a resurgence in the interest for Southern cooking. Why do you think now? Why do you feel like people are more interested in this style?
Well, I think, I get asked that a lot. I think it's connected to comfort food, and like, we want to feel comforted when we eat these days. And once you start eating soul food and you start eating comfort food, you get hooked. Like, it makes you feel a certain way.
Right.
I already feel happier, yes.
You mentioned that part of what made you want to do this was when you tasted food, it didn't taste like your grandmother's cooking. Was that where your love of cooking started? Yeah,
I mean, I consider myself so lucky to have grown up with that storybook Southern grandmother who cooked all day and was the best cook in the world. And I knew at a very, very young age that I wanted to feed people.
Yeah.
And pretty lucky.
You also do, I mean, a lot in terms of just education. Did you always see that as part of the life you wanted to have?
Yeah, I mean, I love teaching. And that's one of the great things about being a chef is when you have a team, part of your responsibility is teaching. And so every day I get to eat great food, but, you know, also teach young chefs what's important, you know, and teach them to inspire them to teach the next generation.
I have to tell you, I come from Texas, so as soon as I saw a pimento cheese recipe, I was like, I love this book. I can't wait to try it out. We want to get your signature on this, and as we hand this over to you, I want to ask you if you could have this meal with any person, past or present, who would that person be?
Well, the obvious answer would be my grandmother, but, you know, I've always wanted to share a meal with the president. I just think it would be amazing.
The two of them together would be terrific.
Yes.
Chef Sean Brock, thanks. And for more on Sean Brock and The Dish, head to our website at CBS This Morning.